welcome to episode 5. Yes, episode 5. Slavery in North Africa and the Arab world. The forgotten slave trade in North Africa and the Arab world that nobody talks about. What if I told you millions of people were enslaved in North Africa and the Arab world for over 1300 years? Yes, 1300 years. And almost nobody talks about it. This is the story of trans-Saharan and Indian Ocean slave trade. I say this so that other colored people across the world don't feel as if this only happened to them. Check this out. After the rise of Islam in 7th century, and expanding empires created vast trade networks stretching from West Africa, to the Middle East and then to India. Guess what? Enslaved Africans were transported across the Sahara Desert and then through the Indian Ocean. Historians estimate that millions were taken between 7th and 19th century. Yes, 7th and 19th century. Check out across Sahara Desert. Caravans, roamed abroad. Caravans roamed for weeks. Many captives did not make it. They did not survive the journey because it was too long. We're talking about 7th century. In places like Cairo, Baghdad, Zanzibar City, the enslaved were sold into domestic servitude, military service, agricultural labor, and royal courts. Some were forced into concubinage. Yes. Many men were castrated. This was a brutal practice that led to extremely high death rates. Anybody remember the Ethiopian eunuch in the Bible? Yes, this is part of the story. I hope I'm right. In 9th century, enslaved Africans in southern Iraq, revolted in what became known as the famous Zayed rebellion. It lasted nearly 15 years. Yes, 15 years. It shook the powerful Abbasid Caliphate to its core. Yes, it did. Unlike the transatlantic slave trade, the system often absorbed enslaved people into household and societies over generations. That's why, today if you go to Morocco, to Tunisia, to Libya, to Egypt, you see they are all mixed together. But make no mistake, it was still slavery. It was still forced. It was traumatic. And its impact shaped regions of North Africa and the Middle East for centuries. And by 19th and early 20th centuries, under pressure from European powers and internal reform movements, slavery was gradually abolished around in those regions. But see what is happening today. Can you imagine that slavery was only abolished in Saudi Arabia in 1962? Yes, 1962. But guess what? It has morphed. Yes, it has morphed to something else now. Like those migrants trying to get to Europe. What European countries do is that they give some warlords and King of Morocco. Yes, they give them money to police their borders. And those sub-Saharan people running from those refugees running from war are converted to slaves in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Libya, and this is what's happening. And when the rest of the world hears it, it takes another dimension. As you can see, history is complicated. It is global and it's interconnected. Understanding slave trades, understanding that all slave trade is just not one, but then it helps us see the full story. Because the truth is, slavery wasn't just one nation's crime. It was a global tragedy. It was a global tragedy, one that we have to collectively put our heads together, talk about it, put a halt to it. Because this is how in North Africa you see child marriages. In UAE they build skyscrapers, but guess what the Indians and the Pakistanis and Indonesians and Sub-Saharans do? This is what, go to Israel and see what they do to Ethiopians there. These are different forms of modern slavery that we have to speak up against. Like I always say, click, subscribe, comment downstairs. I'd like to hear from you. In our next episode, do you want to visit Africa? Remember, it's about time we've got to tell our story ourselves. We must stop other people telling our stories so that the world will get it right. The world will get it right. In our next episode, if you want to come to Africa, yes, I will recommend you go to Namibia. Yes, what did I say? Namibia. You are the other side. Emeka is my name. It's about time.